Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the live show. I hope everybody had a great night or a great day. And we're going to have a great night, is what I meant to say. But anyway, it was a great day. A lot of green. Microsoft was popping, a bunch of other things popping up, and we'll see what's going to be happening. And of course, our World Series is going to be in game 3, and there's an NFL game on, so I'll keep you posted with all that. So let's get to it and see what's going to be happening tomorrow. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only, not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. How is everybody? And there you go. That was our heat map right there. The video is nice and green. Like I said, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Meta, Amazon, Tesla, Mag 7, green right there. A lot of things looking good. Money Mark, how are you this evening? Money Mark hopping on there. How are you, Money Mark? What do you want to look at this evening, Money Mark? I saw you posting about something. I know it was a OTC some sort. I have to look and see exactly what it was. And I did just see your post just a few moments ago. So I did see that. And another great small cap show as always. And I always mention Money Mark. You guys know that. And I always say to make sure you follow Money Mark. He's a great guy. And I always talk about the fact that you retired back in the 99.com bubble. It's so amazing. And you were the one that pointed out to me that this thing was getting into a territory that I had never seen really before. And you were the one that pointed it out. I went back and was looking at charts and like, yeah, we're getting somewhere. And I always like our conversations on the small cap show. So there you go. Everyone, make sure you follow Money Mark. Glad to see him hopping on, checking us out. And let's get cruising here and see what's going on this evening. And again, look at that market looking good. SPY was up, QQQs were up, all kinds of good stuff. We're looking good. If I could type, that would help. But look at a SPY just jumping up way over that trend line right there and getting crazy. Going to hit the top. And obviously, we have a busy week coming up. We have our Fed meeting on Wednesday, and we're getting our rates cut on the by 25. I mean, that is not jumping off a cliff right there. Hold on, that's the December 10th. I was going to say that one could pop down a little bit, but I doubt it. And this one's definitely not jumping off a cliff, October 29th. Even this one, I mean, that one still looks up there. Like I said, the one that would look like the was going to do it would be the 25. What was the decrease? The 25, 50 decrease. This dark blue one right here. So that one, they keep changing the colors. I feel like it's always different. But anyway, and this is your January one. And remember, we were talking about that and their change coming down and that decrease coming up. Well, there you go, guys. That's exactly what we were talking about, Robin, and the Fed decision. So yeah, you're about to see probably 3 of them. Boom, boom, boom. They seem to be 0.25s, but that December one, I'm not going to lie, this one, that 50 decrease could be cruising up, and then this one could come down. So maybe we see a bigger decrease in December. So interesting right there, especially with the government shutdown. And that's really crazy as well. So they don't have any data. And like we had talked about, they had them have the rate cuts. So they fed right into what Trump wanted, and it's working out perfectly for the market. I mean, when you see the market look like this and it's hitting all-time highs nonstop and setting up like that, I would say you're in pretty good shape to get running, especially in the end of the year. So let's see what we're going to be running with this evening and tomorrow and what's going to be popping here. And let's look at this neon right here. It was pulling back a little bit. This is an electrical component one, and it is in the basement, so we'll just be following it. It looked a little better the other day, but yesterday, as a matter of fact, bouncing up, and it could just be making that base. And when it comes out of that bottom or that basement, it will get cruising an aloha on this green day. Laptop travel, euphoria. But be cautious always when everyone is diving into the pool. We always keep our eyes open, of course. And again, I would say tomorrow looks pretty good to continue running up. And then I would be really cautious going into that rate cut. Everybody already knows the rate cut's going to happen, so it might already be priced in. So I would definitely have some cash on hand. And I was saying that in the small cap show today, as a matter of fact, and that's what I would say to play it. How about that WOOF? That thing was jumping up there after the small cap show. Look, we were on at like 1 o'clock. I mentioned it. Look at this thing. It was just running up. And it, I don't know what it kind of went down to 382, but it was probably still up from that point right there. So interesting right there. That one, WOOF, and that's the one I was talking about. It does look like it's trying to set up right there. Petco Health and Wellness Company. I don't know anything about it. I just happened to see it on the scanner today and figured it'd be a good one because it is a small cap. what is it? Oh wow, 1.7 billion market cap. I thought it was smaller than that. But anyway, there you go with that bad boy. And how does ASST look? It actually just closed pretty strong right there. It had been pulling back. It looks really good on that 20 right there. And then it's sitting right there on that trend line. I'd look at it in 4 a.m. I'm going to get up early because I still have some. So I have common shares. So I do have a little position still left. And I do want to see if it does get popping right there in the morning. So it came all the way up there. And this evening it closed at 164. It actually pulled back right there in the after hours and then closed at 165. So I do think it might have a little steam in it tomorrow, and it might just be at 4 a.m. So Petco, it's the store for pet owners right there. I'm familiar with Petco. Just I'm just not familiar with the company that much. Hold on. I don't know how I just had to sneeze out of nowhere. But anyway, sorry about that. And yeah, Petco, I am familiar with that company. We do have them around here. But again, I'm just not familiar with the company inside and out. So Petco Health and Wellness, there used to be one real close by. And I think there's one right next to our Home Depot that I always go to. So always people walking their dogs in because I'm pretty sure you can take your dog in there. And they also do like the baths and everything else in there or bathe them and whatever. But it does look good. Look at that thing crawling up right there for Wolf. So WOOF. And then I thought the stock ticker was pretty good as well. So there you are. And Laptop Travel had a good time. It was nice to hear you on the small cap show as well. So yeah, it was a lot of fun on there today. And there you go. How does Robin said he made a quick buck today, but wondering if it'll pop again. Like I said, it may pop up there a little bit tomorrow, and that's not ASST there. That's Wolf, but that's ASST, and it does have that trend line. But if it gets on there tomorrow, and it very well could, it could really get booming right there. You can see it. That's how it closed up here, but then it'll start fresh tomorrow, so it could easily get running. We'll take a look at it, and I'll probably get up early to take a look at it because, like I said, I still have some shares left, and I did keep some common shares for that swing right there. I was looking at it in the after hours thinking it was going to pop up, and maybe it'll do it in the morning. If not, I'll just get rid of them real quick. I did all right on that one, so that is that ASST right there. And let's see what's going on. We went over Neon. That KVUE right here, that's not looking bad. That's that Tylenol maker right here. And like I said, just kind of making a base right here, not looking too bad. And we'll take a look at KVUE. We've been watching it to see when it wants to really get set up. Maybe it's just waiting for that 20 right there. So that is KVUE right now. And we've been watching that bad boy. And let's take a look at Open. Open actually didn't look too bad, as a matter of fact, today. And it does look like it was hitting some resistance. We were talking about it. I'm not so sure it gets right through that MACD tomorrow, but it is going to get set up. And obviously you can see it. And let me see where the yeah, you can it doesn't look too bad right there. We'll have to look at it tomorrow. It is actually looking better than I thought it was. I knew it was over the 20. You still have that resistance there. And again, we'll check it out tomorrow. If it can get through that MACD, it'll run up. You do have earnings coming up next week or in beginning of November. That could be next week. I didn't even look to see when is that. Oh, I can't even flip the stupid calendar thing. Oh, yeah, that is next Thursday. So that'll be in a week from now. And can you believe Halloween's on Friday, guys? How crazy is that? So couple more days until trick-or-treating and all that good stuff. So there you go. ASST, wonder if we hear more from Mike Alfred on this one. Remember, BYND had a great second day and started to sputter only midday on day 3. I agree right there. And Open should get some traction with a rate cut, and I agree with that as well. Like I said, it is getting set up right there. So we keep our eyes on that one. We've been watching it, and I gave it out on the small cap show at like 40 cents, 50 cents, wherever it was back then. And QMCO right here, these quantum ones, computer hardware, and all these bad boys still pulling back a little bit. They're just trying to keep themselves afloat after they had run up majorly, and then now they're just getting set back up. So I think they do have a little setup period, and you just have a rotation where the money's moving now, and then not so much in the RGTI and all these guys. As you can see, like I said, they're trying to get set up. We'll keep an eye and see. Some of them look like a little better than others. This QSI, this looks like it's trying to roll off that MACD, so we can keep an eye on that one. Your QUBT right here is that quantum computing. Another one just kind of hanging out there, and QBTS is D-Wave, and that's usually the strongest one. It does look like it's trying to curl up, but at any moment it could still pull back right here. It is over to 20 though, so it looks a little better than the rest of them, not gonna lie. And then our IONQ right there isn't looking too bad. That one actually looks like it tried to bottom out down there at your 52.27, so that one could be getting set up. And of course, Z Space right here. And we've just been watching this one forever. I have to giggle about it because it's under the 20 again. I have no idea what's up with that. It is a computer hardware one. But anyway, that is your quantum computer hardware gang. And we'll keep an eye on them, obviously. And UNH right here was looking pretty good today. They have earnings coming up. And check it out. When's their earnings? As a matter of fact, their earnings are tomorrow. That's right. I think Ben was saying that. And yeah, this does look pretty good right here, but it does have to get curling through. But it's in a good spot, I must say. So definitely be keeping an eye on UNH if you like earnings plays. That'll be tomorrow. Oscar right here just trying to get set up. So not sure if it's ready. And Michael Alfred says, attention, kid analysts. Chart squigglers and small ballers and penny flippers who said, I would sell for a quick 500K or million profit. You were wrong again, better investors. Don't. He said penny flip for micro profits. That's what children with no patience and impulse control do. Is that what he really said? I have no idea. I don't even know who the guy is. I know you guys were talking about him earlier and Ben had mentioned him. And yeah, I'm not even sure. I don't even know if I ever seen him online or anything. I know the other person that was talking about which one? Open. Who's that guy? I forget his name as well. But anyway, yeah, I'm not that familiar with them guys, but I just know that they just kind of pump up stocks now. That's their gimmick and whatever. Like they figured out a way that they're going to try to do it. It'll only last so long because, again, how many stocks can you really pump up like that? People get that's a direct quote. I figured you were saying something that he said. And but yeah, that's how many, you know what I mean? Eventually people a lot of people chase these things up to the top, guys, and then they get caught in them. They're not getting in them at the bottom like he is, and then they're selling them. And then they're getting stuck in them and losing money, and then that'll repeat, rinse and repeat. Even though he's making money, that doesn't necessarily everybody will continue to follow him. We'll see how it plays out and what he's up to. And again, I just don't follow the guy, so I have no idea. I usually Eric Jackson, that's his name. The other guy's Eric Jackson from Open. Yeah, that's what his name is. And wasn't he like camping out at somebody's house? Whose house? Like some rapper. Again, I don't even know. Who the heck was it? It was like a huge rapper. He was like camping out at his house and like reporting there every morning or something. I don't even know, guys. Anyway, that's how much I know. But here we go. Let's cruise right through and see who the heck was that rapper? Now I'm trying to think of his name. I can't even think of his name. I have no idea. I'm really bad with that stuff. But yeah, that's I can remember a stock ticker and stuff, but I just can't remember things like that. It's pretty bizarre. Who I have no idea who it is. I can't think of his name. Anyway, who cares? UNH looking pretty good though, and like I said, they have earnings coming up, and we'll keep an eye on that tomorrow. ABTC. And we were saying this one looked good. It was crawling up, hitting it. And maybe it doesn't even get through. It doesn't even look like it wants to. And I know crypto is having a little tiny pullback. As a matter of fact, we'll go right into that and look at it really quick. And it is a little bit red right there. It was much more green yesterday. So obviously a little bit of pullback, but they did run up there, and it is a little bit of healthy pullback, and they crossed through Bitcoin, a little healthy pullback, nothing crazy, 20 crawling up. Still looks good to me. Ethereum right here in that channel, still looking pretty good as well. And Solana just under 200. Yeah, it was just under 200 right there. And again, still looking pretty good. So I can't say that they're not looking good. Ripple's still trying to go up as well. Not looking bad right there. Doge getting set up, and the rest of them look pretty similar. So that is what crypto looks like. It does look pretty good. There's your Stellar XLM, and Optimism looks pretty optimistic to get cruising. It's out of the top, and once it gets into that channel, it'll get rolling. So just taking it a little bit of time right there. Nothing too crazy. So that was what was it? ABTC. And then that Pew right here, PEW, a little bit of pullback today. And it is in that channel. So they have earnings coming up. And that's in a couple weeks. And we'll just watch this one probably bounce around right there as they get set up. And our NCPL net capital as well, just kind of setting back up. So this one looked like it was ready to go the other day, and I bet it does get set up. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Drake's house in Toronto. Thank you, Laptop Travel, because that was driving me crazy. I'm like, what? I couldn't think of his name, Drake. And yeah, I'm not a Drake fan, or I don't even know if I even know any of his songs, guys. I'm not even kidding. You could probably he could probably fall me, and I honestly wouldn't even know. I couldn't even tell you what he really looks like. I really don't follow much of that stuff, so I have no idea, and I'd forget anyway, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah, Drake, I couldn't remember his name, and I know he's very popular. I know a lot of people like Drake, but I just not into his music, and I just really don't even know who he is. But there you go. That's my side of it, and when did you the last time you saw Warren Buffett stalking someone over a stock? Does Drake even own the stock open? I mean, this guy was like, I just know because of the social media stuff that was going on and people were talking about it. So it was Drake. I couldn't think of his name. And then this dude, whatever his name is, holy cow, Eric Jackson, that's his name. Thank God they're right near each other on the same, where you posted them both for me, Laptop Travel, so I can look and remember. So Eric Jackson, yeah, he's all about open. Is he the CEO of Open? I'm not even sure, to be completely honest with you. Or is he just a dude that likes the stock and like tries to pump it up? I have no idea. So if you guys have a clue, you guys can answer that. And then I just know he was like hanging out in front of Drake's house like every day, trying to get Drake's attention about this stock Open. Now again, Open, I was talking about it at 50 cents, guys, in the small cap show. So you guys know on the small cap show, I talked about it for weeks and weeks and weeks and saying, hey, this thing's getting set up. And then all of a sudden became a phenomenon and just kept running and was crazy. And yeah, I didn't know it was going to do all that, but the chart looked really good and it was a small cap. So I just added it to the list and said, hey, this thing looks good. And then all of a sudden, like I said, it was running up there and everybody was talking about this thing, Open Door. And we've been talking about, we picked up top, we even picked up, I think we missed one little pop, like one green candle day. And besides that, we played it pretty perfect. I haven't really been staring at it too much because now these people are all involved in it and it's all crazy. But anyway, as far as I know, this dude was like Eric Jackson was showing up at Drake's house every day. Now, yeah, let me know if is Eric Jackson the CEO of Open, or does he even like have anything to do with it, or is he just a dude that literally like pump stocks? I really don't know. And then the other guy, I forget what his name was, Mike Alford, and I really don't have a clue who that guy is, to be honest with you. So yeah, they're just two guys that are just, I guess, have pretty big followings, and then they just get a hold of these stocks. Now again, like I was saying on the small cap show, do I think they can find the ones that are setting up to get moving? Absolutely, because ASST I was talking about early, Open Door I was talking about early, just about every single one of these that these guys get into, I was talking about before they ever looked at them, or maybe they were looking at it and just kind of timing them out. I'm not exactly sure what they do, but yeah, so we're going to be watching these things and make sure we know like some of these setups that I can kind of keep an eye on, like that Open Door, and obviously these other ones like Beyond and all these things. They get a certain setup where I think these guys like that setup look, and then obviously we can beat them to it because we can hop in before they actually start pumping it. Because like I said, we looked at ASST before that. I mean, there's been a bunch of them, BYND or whatever the other, yeah, Beyond Meat. Remember we were looking at that. We looked at that before any of them too, because we were talking about how high it was back in COVID days, and that thing started shooting up like 2 days later. So if you remember correctly, I was talking about it right there on that day, and I what was it at 82 cents was its high, as low as 65, and then it ran up to like 358. So yeah, just we'll keep an eye on some of these guys and get that. I know that look that they look for. So do I think that they can actually see the chart setups? Yeah. And do they manipulate things with their followings? Of course they are. And unfortunately, people are going to chase them to the top and then get stuck in them and uh and that's just the way it always works, guys. And it doesn't matter if it's these two guys pumping them or anybody else. It's just the way it works. Some people get in at the bottom, some people decide to buy it when it's all the way at the top, and then it's coming down. So obviously we can look at the charts and kind of know that they're at the bottom, and that's what we look for a reason, obviously. So anyway, that is that, and that's what I think them guys are up to. We were having that conversation today on the small cap show. Ben had brought it up because I brought up ASST and all that. But yeah, no, Drake does not own any part of Open. But Eric Jackson thought if he got Drake to buy it, it would be a huge influencer. Okay, I see. And some of the best Drake songs include Hotline Bling, God's Plan, One Dance, and Nice for What. If anyone knows any of them, I have no idea. I'll have to, like I said, I really don't know any of his music. I know when his concert was around here, I knew people that were going, and I was like, really? I don't even know any of his songs. So it's kind of crazy. So what is that? So Eric Jackson's the founder and president of a portfolio manager of EMJ Capital. So that's what he's doing. So he's broker hawking shares he has already purchased, and so there you go, another snake salesman, and yeah, in Zach's clothing right there. Yeah, that's basically what the Ben was kind of saying. They're all like they're basically like another Zach Morris right there. So it is interesting. Like I said, they're kind of just using their following and pushing a stock. Again, the things get set up. I can't say that they're not seeing these setups, because they're definitely down there and getting ready to run. They're just pumping them really hardcore. So that's what you're seeing with it, and it's kind of wild. Again, I don't pump anything. I just tell you guys, oh yeah, that's getting set up. This looks good. And anyone asks about anything, we know everything that looks good before it even happens. So I'm not trying to ever pump anything. I don't really think it's very ethical, to be completely honest with you. But obviously, I tell you what looks good and what does it, and I base it all off of stock charts. And you guys watch me do it right here while I'm on the show. So it's not like I'm talking to people or getting insider information or doing anything crazy. You're watching the process while I do it. So it's nothing. So yeah, you guys can go back and see literally, like I was talking about BYND before it ever ran. Open Door, I was super early on that thing. Literally back down here, guys, I was giving it out 60 something cents, 50 cents. I know it was like the 50s or 60s down there. And yeah, ASST, we were just talking about this one, but you guys were following it all the way up here, and we just started tracking it down and knew that it was getting set up, because again, it's in the basement, it starts curling up, and you just know it's going to run. So are they picking out these setups because they're getting ready to run? Of course they are. And so yeah, that's part of it too. I agree. I think that they do pick the ones that are about to run, and then they get pumped. So, and you're saying the dude Alfred has 253,000 followers, and Eric has 131. So there you go. And Laptop Travel said, meanwhile, I have 6K. That's pretty funny. So yeah, these guys are out here just pumping them, the big audiences, obviously. And these things get cruising. It's the same thing with Tim Skies. And he catches on to these momentum plays in the morning. They're not necessarily, again, some of these things we see before they ever start running, but he has a big audience, like 300,000 plus followers. And then he has, he posts it out in his communities and whatever. And that's what you see a lot of these Discord communities, such we have, but we don't ever pump anything. These guys know if they post that thing, it's going to get blasted off. And every day you see some of these easy ones. And I'll just give you an example, like CODX right here. And this would be one. And yeah, it starts moving. And right in the morning right here, and he posts about it, and then boom, the next thing you know, it's going to just start cruising, and they start selling there, and then it pulls back, and then maybe you re-enter, whatever they do. I have no idea. But again, they have a big following, so these things get cruising right there, and you see it every day. He does it as well. And like I said, nobody's ever going to get in trouble because of Zach Morris. He's the one that obviously beat the case, and the other dude, PJ, whatever, PJ Matlock is, I think that's what it is, something like that. But yeah, them two guys basically had to beat the case, and So they can't really say anything's really a pump and dump, so to say, but I would say they're being pumped up, let's put it that way. And yeah, that's what you're seeing with some of these things. So you have to be very, very careful. You can play them intraday and maybe swing them overnight real quick, like I said. But you better be getting up at 4 a.m. to make sure that you're either in or out, depending on which way it wants to go. This one still happened to look pretty good, and it might get that early morning pop up right there. So that's and again, I'd gotten rid of most of it, but just kept a few. I know Ben had gotten out of it because he was going to a wedding on a Monday night. I found that pretty intriguing. I was a chef for years at a country club, and well, we were closed on Monday, so we would never have a wedding. But I've heard of them. Obviously, it's going to be much less expensive than a Friday or Saturday, that's for sure. But just an interesting thing to have a wedding on a Monday night. So it was probably just something small or whatever. I could see it. And Ben lives in New York, so everything's super expensive. So I can see if you're trying to save any kind of money, it wouldn't be a bad idea. And if it's just like family and close people, again, it's not a big deal. So anyway, Ben was hopping out early. We weren't trading in the after hours, but again, that's something that you have to keep in mind with these pumps, and you got to be just in and out of them, that's for sure. So yeah, there you go. And analysts in the Discord have a code of ethics we must follow, and I was trained, and you were trained and held to those principles since way back in the day. Well, I'm the same way. It's completely laptop travel, I agree. I'm just not in it to really try to do that and lead people down the wrong path for no reason, or the wrong reasons especially. And that's what you see with these pumps. Obviously, like I said, people are going to be chasing them at the top, we know that. And then people are going to get caught up there as soon as they get sold off, and they're going to get stuck up there. And that's not always the best thing. So it can only happen so many times, and then a lot of people stop losing trust in somebody. So you're going to see that. But in the meantime, we'll take advantage of these big pumps with these things, because again, we see them before they even start talking about them. We're already talking about these things, and I'll identify them and know exactly which ones they are. So there you are with that, and we'll keep on cruising right through, see what's going on here. So yeah, that is what's going on. I think we looked at PSQH, but possibly not. And that thing isn't looking too bad out of all of them. That thing is looking a little bit better. The other day, that ABTC I thought was looking pretty good. I mean, it isn't looking terrible right there. It's getting into the channel, rolling up. It just might not get through that MACD right there. So we'll see what it looks like. And if it can roll through the MACD and that 20, use the 20 to get through the 50 right there on the ABTC. So we were just looking at that. And that UP, oh, we didn't even get over there. Yeah, hold on. And that OCGN right here, a little bit of healthy pullback. That one could pull back a little bit more. I'll have to look at that one again tomorrow. So that is OCGN, and we've been watching that one for a while. BMNR, this was running up, and this is getting back into the right spot right there. You can see that trend line, and obviously with crypto looking better, so SBET and these guys looking way better right here. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on all these setups. Obviously, crypto, a little healthy pullback, not a big deal. And they do look good. UPXI, like I said, this one's going to get back up, and that trend line is going to come down. That's going to crawl up and take a major run. So that's what you're looking at right there. And Orbs right here still setting up. And let's see, it says it had a little bit of pullback in the after hours. Nothing too crazy right there, but that's ORBS right there. So there you go with that one, ORBS. And we will keep an eye on 8Co. I'm surprised that one was trying to get set up and run. This TONX, honestly, guys, this one looks good. I thought it would be out of the basement today right there. It's trying to push its way out. And let's see if they actually have some news going on, because that is looking pretty good. It's trying to move for some kind of reason, and you know that the charts generally tell you something. So we'll have to see what it does tomorrow. If it doesn't get out of there, then that means that they're stalling up on something. Something's not right, that's for sure, if it doesn't get cruising tomorrow. So we will be keeping an eye on this TONX. And See exactly what's going on right there with that thing. And here we go. This one was pulling back a little bit today. BBWI, Bath and Body Works. And you can see, remember we were talking about it just staying in this channel? Well, it did hit the 50 and came right back to the 20. So I guess it kind of did what we wanted it to do. And it probably will bounce around in there. And BBBY is has earnings, I believe, or did they just have earnings? I think they had them tonight. Yeah, they had them today. It says the 27th, and that's not looking too bad. I have no idea what they did. Let's see. Their revenue was reported at 257, and their estimate was 259, so they missed that by like 2.6 million right there. And their EPS, it looks like they had a surprise beat, so I'm not exactly sure. And because that means all nothing to me, but I'll tell you what, it doesn't look bad on the stock chart. It does look like it wants to get cruising, especially towards this holiday season. And I think they're opening up some stores again. Bed Bath and Beyond. So I know Marcus Leomis, whatever. I think that's how you say his last name, but he's like the CEO. I don't know if he owns it or not, but I know he's the CEO. He might have been one of the buyers of it. I have no idea, to be completely honest with you. But I know he's trying to make that company good again, and he's been working at it. And CMG right here, Chipotle was pulling back today. This thing was looking pretty good with that 20 and 50 meeting, and all of a sudden it was pulling back. I wonder if their earnings aren't going to be that great because they're coming up on Wednesday, I believe, or Thursday. The 29th is Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah, tomorrow's the 28th, so that would be Wednesday the 29th. And so, yeah, it's just kind of pulling back. We'll see how Chipotle looks tomorrow. It was looking a lot better. And let's look at this EPWK right here. This is a penny one, and this is looking pretty decent right here. Look at this thing trying to get out of the basement as well. So definitely keep an eye on that EPWK right there. So I would say that one could be a good one. Some of these penny stocks looking pretty good for quick bounces, that's for sure. And let me make sure I don't spill my water. All right. And LBGJ, this one's also getting set up right here. So here we go with this one. What is it? LBGJ? And it's like Li Bang International or whatever. Obviously, it's a China company right there. And that 20 is crawling up and trying to move. It was rolling up a little bit today, so you can keep your eye on LBGJ. That's another one right there. And let's see why YDKG is doing. It sounds like Y2K, but YDKG. And that's another China one. So these China ones getting set up, obviously, as Trump and that Xi, whatever his name is that meeting's coming up. I wish I could know what his name is. I know Laptop Travel tried to pronunciate it for me. I still don't know what the guy's name is. Is it She, like Shee, like She? I don't even really know. It's spelled XI. I really don't know. Anyway, YDKG and Yuda Digital Holdings, whatever it is. But this thing looks pretty good, guys. And another one that's a penny stock. And obviously, and these are ones, honestly, that we should be looking at for them dudes that want to pump them up, because that's that look that they like. They like these big fish hooks, and they're easy to identify. You can time them out pretty well. It's not that hard, and then you can, and with their following and stuff, they can post it and get it pumping up there. They can jump in them nice and low. You can get get in at the bottom right there. They're pretty easy to see, as you can tell. That was your bottom down there at that 4 cents. So imagine you get in at that 4 cents, and then it starts really cruising up there, and you start pumping it. It gets running up pretty high. That's money in the bank right there. You can purchase a lot of them at 4 cents, that's for sure, even at 5 cents. So anyway, that's something that you're going to be looking for, because that's what these guys are kind of looking at. I'm not going to lie. And then IXX right here, Stock Authority was looking at it coming down here to this trend line. So now we'll actually watch this thing and see what it wants to do off of there. So I'll keep an eye on that. And LITM, he was saying keep an eye on this one, watch it pull back a little bit, and then we'll watch this to see that get set up. And it does look like this one could get set up, and it is one of them other industrial metals and mining ones in Canada. So we'll keep an eye on and see when it gets ready right there. So appreciate them ones. Stock Authority and SNES right here, Sinestech. I was talking about it today. on the small cap show briefly, but this one's going to get set up right here. It's just bouncing off this MACD, basically waiting for this trend line to meet up to it, and pretty much until they get some news or something going right there. And then that one will get cruising. That's obviously that one that does the rodent birth control right there. And it's been working. It just ran up really, really big and had to have some pullback so it can run up some more. So that's all you got right there. And BBBY had earnings and they beat estimates, still a loss though. And let's see, Marcus Lemonis is the CEO of the Camping World and had a few TV shows. I do know that. And Profit and The Fixer. And Xi Jinping. That's how you say his name. So it is like Xi, like I've been saying. So yeah, you did spell it out for me, Laptop Travel. I thought I was saying it. And so I think I'm saying it right. Xi Jinping. That's how you'd say the last name, but Xi is his last name, and that's XI, I guess, because that's how you spell it. But anyway, I just wanted to say the dude's name right, and that's all. But yeah, I think I was pronouncing it right. And thanks to Laptop Travel, I had to ask him, how the heck do you say this guy's name? And I'm talking about the president or the dictator or whatever you call him. What do you even call him? A president, right? Of China? I think that he's a president. I don't even know what the heck he is. I think that's his title, right? He's the president of China. Anyway, you guys know who I'm talking about. So here we go. Let's cruise. I know more about stocks than I know about that stuff. That's for sure. And you guys know that. But that wolf right there was looking good. We were already looking at it. And there you are with that dog one. Petco Health and Wellness. And let's see, AEO is our American Eagle, and that wasn't too bad. It was running up a little bit today. The apparel ones, and we were just keeping an eye on them. Maybe they have a little healthy pullback right there. I didn't even really look at Nike. It did pull back a little bit. That's right. I do remember. And Lulu as well. That was running up, but then also kind of had a little pullback. I know it was up a little bit higher today. As you can see, it was running up. It came in a little higher. I did look at that. It doesn't look too bad in the after hours right there for Lulu. So we'll keep an eye on it. Could have a little bit of pullback as that 20 starts crawling up, but it does not look bad right there, I must say. Let me take a look at this Lulu right here. LULU. And yeah, it doesn't really look bad. We'll have to look at Lulu right there and see what it wants to do in the morning. I'll definitely put that on the list for the morning. So Lulu, I will keep an eye on you right there and see what you want to do. But yeah, American Eagle, there you are with that one, and we'll keep an eye and see which way it wants to go right there. And then these two are setting up, Home Depot and Lowe's, a little bit of pullback, but look at these bad boys. Right off of that trend line, they do have earnings coming up, but that's in like the middle of November. That 20 and your trend line, they look really good. So I would say Home Depot and Lowe's looking pretty good. The setup right there, as you can see, Lowe's was up a little bit, and look at that thing getting ready. And they have their earnings on the 19th. When the heck was Home Depot's? Weren't they like right at the 18th or the 19th? Didn't I say that? The 18th, yeah. So they have them a day apart. Go figure, right? So like identical companies right there. But there's your Lowe's and Home Depot is definitely looking pretty good, I must say. So we'll be keeping an eye on them. And let's see what IVF was pulling back a little bit more today. And this one's been this was an absolute disaster of one. And we'll see when it wants to get turned around. It was trying to get cruising back the other day, and now it's pulling back. So we'll have to see when it does when it gets set back up and try to run it again. Maybe we'll try to run it back up and recoup some losses on that one. That was a disaster. And anyway, ONDS right here on this one was running up early this morning. It does look like it could pull back a little bit. As you can see, it bounced right up and then started to pull back right there. Didn't look too bad in the after hours for ONDS. So we were just talking about this one. That 20 is up there, so we'll have to see exactly what it wants to do. If it does want to get cruising up a little bit, maybe it runs up early tomorrow and then pulls back. UMAC right here was pretty wild today, and this one kept popping up pretty well and didn't look too bad. So UMAC, it was looking pretty good. Look at that curl up right there. So keep an eye on this one, UMAC. That one's not looking bad as it comes up to the MACD, and we'll see if it can cross through it right there. And again, we'll have to see. These things are timing themselves right out for this Fed meeting. And I don't know if it's really going to be popping off the Fed. I think it could help it, but it could pull back because the Fed, the rate cut could be already factored in a little bit. And if Powell says something real crazy, guys, that'll throw off the market for the day, and then it'll get cruising right back because then Trump will just be like, "Oh yeah, we have our meeting with China, with Xi and Xi Jinping, and we're gonna make our trade deal," and then the market will go ballistic again. So you just have to be a little careful going into Wednesday. That's all. Tomorrow, I think, could be a pretty decent day again, is what it looks like anyway. So here we go. That is your UMAC right there. And this cake is a Cheesecake Factory that was pulling back. We were looking at some of the restaurant ones, but they do have their earnings tomorrow, so you can keep an eye on that. Those of you that like earnings, that's why I kept it on there for you. And Doge Mama 9, what is your Dodgers? Why does this thing keep turning off? That's I had this game on for a reason so I could pay attention to it and not get lost. And then I get lost because the thing keeps turning off. Anyway, it's the bottom of the second in the Blue Jays Dodgers game, and it's nothing. So we didn't miss anything. And it's also 0-0 in the football game. The Commanders had the ball, 1:04 left in the first quarter. So there's your little sports update. And I'll keep you updated on the Blue Jays Dodgers. But yeah, I don't know why my iPad keeps turning off there. For whatever reason, it was just working perfectly fine. And I hop on the show and it shuts off. So interesting. Anyway, but I'll keep you guys updated. Nothing crazy happening in the games, it doesn't look like. But Doge Mama 9, I'm pretty sure you gave us this one. I thought you were talking about Knack. And that one wasn't so great today. I did look at it as I looked at this one, NAKA, and I said, whoa, Doge Mama 9's on fire. The last one you gave us was that what? EONR? And that one went blasting off. And I'm saying it's not blasting off today, but there was that pop up right there, I believe, or maybe that one and that one. Yeah, it definitely was. So two great ones right there for Doge Mama 9. And what was this one? NAKA. That's what it was. NAKA. So, yeah, keep an eye on this thing, guys. This one could continue to run in the morning right there for NAKA. So, good eye on them, too, for sure, Doge Mama 9. So give you your credit for them because you definitely deserve it. They were both great calls right there. IVF, the administration talks yak, but doesn't follow through well with a lot of these announcements, like with IVF. And IVF just dropped the ball. We talked about it before, so we won't get into that. But I mean, you have the president of the United States come out and start talking about your industry and basically your company. And the Dodgers just scored, it looked like, and it's in the bottom of the second. It looks like it's 1-0 now. The Dodgers are leading with one out, is what it says to me. And again, I don't know why this thing even turned off right here. Let's see. Let me pop that in real quick and see if it's working. Yeah, I just fixed it and I updated everything, and then the next thing you know, it's not working for whatever reason. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you with that. Hold on. Maybe I probably just put the wrong thing on. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can get this game back on. I did want to put it on. Here we go. I think I have it here. And let's see. Hold on, let me just make the screen bigger. There we go. Yeah, 1-0 in the bottom of the second. So, all right, there's the game. We'll see how long it can last for. Because, like I said, it was just on. I just had it on there, and then I looked over, and it was turned off. And I know it's plugged in, so it's not the battery. But anyway, who cares? NAKA right there, Doge Mama 9, and your Dodgers up 1-0. So. It is the bottom of the second, 2 outs, and the football game. The Chiefs have the ball now with like 55 seconds in the first. They're playing the Commanders. So there you are. And let's keep on cruising through our stocks. And that is NAKA IMRX right here. Not looking bad today as well. And that looks like it could continue up. So keep an eye on that one right there. That's not looking bad. So IMRX and NAKA, maybe two that have a little bit of momentum left in them. How about that circle today? It was trying to jump up and then it had a little bit of pullback. It's just jumping around right there as it gets set up. So you'll definitely want to be keeping an eye on CRCL because that is getting set up, and Lyft and Uber looking pretty decent as well. And I think these are going to be getting set up. I think Uber might have been up more, or was that yesterday? I don't remember. Yeah, Uber was up more today. That was today. And it couldn't have been yesterday because yesterday was Sunday. So obviously it had to have been today. Holy cow. It seems like 2 days went by today already. And but Lyft right here, both of these looking really good for LYFT. And Uber might even have a little bit of momentum in it because that one's looking pretty good, I must say. And we'll take a look at that one. But yeah, look at Lyft right there getting set up. And once their earnings coming up, November 5th. So there you go. Uber was up like 2.5%, and that one looks like it wants to run up. And there's our November 4th right there. So isn't that election day? Perhaps I think it could be. November 4th could be election day. And what's it say? Uber launched autonomous robo taxi passenger services in Riyadh. Where is that? With WeRide making the first public AV deployment on its platform. In Saudi Arabia also announced its new digital tasks program, allowing drivers to earn by training AI systems, whatever the heck they're talking about. But looks like they Uber launched an autonomous robo taxi passenger service in wherever this place is. I'm not even sure with WeRide. That's about what I got out of it. But anyway, Uber looking good, Lyft looking pretty good right there. So keep an eye on them two guys. And how about that nuclear? I was talking about this earlier to Ben, and he said that he wasn't going to be focused on it, and then it started ripping up there, looking pretty good today. So you might want to keep an eye on this NKLR. It is looking pretty good to me. So I might keep an eye on that one. NK, we entered it right here. I mean, dead at the bottom right there was a perfect entry, and then we ended up selling it way too early. That's for sure. But yeah, I think nuclear is getting set up right here, guys. So keep an eye on NKLR right there, looking pretty decent. And let's see. And there you are, Doge Mama 9. You're trying in this stock world. It could have done better today. Anyway, great. We got a run. And yeah, that was a great call though, right there with that. What the heck was it? Where was it at? NACA, that's what it was. And obviously, like I said, after you start learning how to pick them like we can, then the next thing is learn how to really trade them smart. And that's what I think we're really all learning. And I think we might have to have Yosef on and have a talk with him. He seems to be, if those of you that don't know who Yosef is, we have I think his last name even might be Levy or Levy. I know Joseph Levy is our buddy from our show. And then there's a Yosef Levy. I think that's how you'd say his last name in the Discord. And he's like a master at trading, guys. Like the other day, I literally had just been like, yo, Microsoft's getting ready to run up here right here. And then the next thing I know, and like, I'm not even kidding, not 2 minutes later, maybe 2 minutes, he goes, I just made $5,000 on Microsoft. It was crazy. I was like, what? Like, how did he just, that's nuts. He's obviously playing big positions and he's been doing it for a while. He's been doing pretty big trades, but even to do that on a small scale is pretty impressive to be able to do it that fast. So, yeah, we definitely have to talk to Yosef. And again, we can always, everybody can always better themselves, especially in the trading aspect. We're pretty good at picking them, seeing the bottoms and everything else like that. We generally see everything, like I was pointing out. We've seen all these big poppers and runners that are being pumped and everything before anybody was talking about. Guys, I talked about AMC and GameStop before they were ever pumped up on Reddit, the first big pump when that used to happen. And Riyadh, or however you say it's the capital of Saudi Arabia. Thank you. I had no idea. And so, yeah, and I was talking about AMC and GameStop, like I said, before anyone ever mentioned them on Reddit or anything before them runs. I had GameStop at like, or AMC, I mean, at like under $3. It was like in $2 land, and it went to 75. It was pretty wild. So yeah, I mean, we see these things on the chart setups, and then again, these guys identify these things a little later as they're getting set up, but they jump out to me, I think, a little bit earlier, and then we just have to track them down, which we try to always do, obviously, and time them out right. So that's what always happens. And here we go at the top of the third, and the Dodgers did get a run right there. So we'll see what the Blue Jays have when they're up to bat, and it looks like the game is going to be coming back on. So here we go. Let's keep on cruising, and everyone can go enjoy the game. And nuclear GPUS is running. Remember, we kept seeing this on the scanners about 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. It was probably after this dip. I remember it run up and then it was like right around here. It'd been going, yeah, probably right around here. That was a bottom. And then that thing looks pretty good for tomorrow. So it's already running up in the after hours, it looks like, for GPUS. So you might want to keep an eye on that laptop travel in the morning. That looks pretty good right there. For a momentum play as well for GPUS, it's definitely running up in the after hours. And let's see what this list says because I can't read it. There I go. And grab right here, GRAB. Might want to grab some of these because they weren't looking too bad today. I know that as it was crawling up on that 20 right there. Let me take a better look at it. GRAB. And yeah, GRAB looking pretty good. So keep an eye on that one. That one could be a good setup if it's running up there. And Snap right here, Snapchat. I think this is what, yeah, internet content. This one has earnings coming up. I did notice that November 5th. And it does look like it's trying to set up. I don't know if it's exactly ready off of this MACD. I'll look at it tomorrow. That's why I added it on there. So let me add that to tomorrow's list right there. So I can take a quick look at Snapchat to take and see what that wants to do. JetBlue is looking pretty good right here. And look at that trying to get set up. And they might have earnings tomorrow. Yes, it was. That's why I did put that one, and it did look good. So JetBlue with some earnings right there tomorrow. So if you want to take a look at that one, it does not look bad, that's for sure. So that one might be a good one for earnings that people like earnings plays. And there you are with JBLU. NASTS right here was running up back up today. It took that big old dip, ASTS space, or that's ASST right there. I still can't put it in there. ASTS, there you go. And that thing looks pretty healthy going back up. So keep an eye on that one tomorrow as well. And that does look pretty good. ASTS Space Mobile or AST Space Mobile, whatever it is. But that does look like it's going to try to crawl back up right there. So we'll be watching that one right there. And then we had our BTGD over here, and that's that staked Bitcoin and gold ETF. And it is getting set back up. So we'll just keep an eye on that. And the SOLT. That one's the 2 times Solana, and it is running up right there. And again, I'm not exactly sure if they'll get through this time, but we already know they're getting set up. And SOLZ, the exact same setup right there. And that HSDT kind of getting set up as well. And we've been talking about these guys down at the bottom, so you can position yourself accordingly. You know, crypto's getting set up right there, and that's what they look like. They don't look bad, that's for sure. And stake right here, STKE, Soul Strategies, and that thing's running up there, has a little resistance at that 409 area, but that thing looks pretty good right there. And there you go with them. JNUG, these guys were pulling back some more. And look at that thing. It does look like it's going to pull back. And you might come, I mean, holy cow, the next stop would be I don't think it's going to come down that far, but it better bounce back up tomorrow for gold. We'll see what it wants to do, guys. It might come down a little bit more. I'm not going to lie. Even that NUG right here, they have very similar charts. Silver looked like it has a little support down here, so we'll see. Maybe they only come back down a little bit like silver, and then it drops in a support line. And but as of yet, NUG and stuff, I mean, it does have support, but it's way down there, like 93. So it could, I mean, they've been dipping pretty hard. It could obviously come down and try to bounce off of there. So keep an eye on gold to possibly dip. We'll look at it in the morning to see exactly what it wants to do right there. And let's keep on rolling right here and see what UPS and FedEx are doing because they look pretty good. UPS does have its earnings coming up, and they are tomorrow. So there you go at UPS. They'll be reporting as well tomorrow, and that does look pretty strong. So keep an eye on that one. Going into its earnings right there. And FedEx wasn't looking too bad as it was jumping up today, as you can see on that trend line. And it does have some resistance up there at 249, it looks like. So yeah, 249 area. And so, yeah, keep an eye on that, close to 250, and then see what it wants to do. It could stay in that little channel, but there you go with UPS, FedEx. And again, UPS does have its earnings tomorrow. And DSY, someone was asking about Big Tree Cloud holding right here. And that is way down there trying to get set back up. It's hitting the MACD. It might have a little bit of pullback as it gets set back up a little bit there. So I would keep an eye on that. It's trying to push through. I'll have to add that to tomorrow morning's list. It doesn't look bad, laptop travel. Might want to look at that thing in the morning. And obviously, we went over our ASST right here, and it did close not too bad. Obviously, it closed basically it closed at 164, and then in the after hours, it went up a penny. And like I said, we're gonna have to look at that bad boy in the morning to see. And hold on, Strive and Semler Scientific announced the first ever merger of two Bitcoin treasury companies, sending Strive up today. And I didn't even know that even happened, to be completely honest with you. So there you go. And like I said, we'll look at it early in the morning tomorrow to see if it wants to run up some more. And there you go with them guys. And let's keep on cruising right through our Jolie's jams and everything else, because we have some games on tonight. We have a World Series game 3, mid-third right here. Still Dodgers up 1-0. And then your Commanders are still nothing with the Chiefs, but you're in the second quarter there with like 11 minutes left. So some good sporting events on. So we'll cover the market, see what's going on, and then we'll go enjoy some sports. Rhythm right here is pulling back. That used to be old Agrify or whatever, however it was. I don't remember. AGR, and it couldn't have been that. That's Agri-Force Growing System, whatever it was, but it used to be Agrify. Now it's Rhythm, RYM, and it is pulling back right there. Let's see, Agrify Growing System or whatever. That's pulling back too right there. So anyway, Blink Charging, wasn't this one pulling back yesterday? I forget what it was doing today. A little bit of healthy pullback. It ran up early, but it still looks like it has some pullback in it. Sezzle was pulling back. I did see that one. I remember that. And Sterling had been pulling back. I did see that one pulling back as well. Rivian looks like it's getting set up, guys. And we were talking about this one. So keep an eye on RIVN. That does look pretty good right there. And let's look at Symbotic. I think that might have been pulling back. No, that was running up there. I'm sorry. Symbotic had been running up as well. And that's right. It was trying to make that crawl. I was saying that thing looks like it's going to crawl up tomorrow. That is absolutely right. So keep an eye on Symbotic as well. And Symbotic and your Rivian right there looking pretty good. So yeah, keep an eye on them too. And here we go with our laptop travel list. And I kind of just threw a few together and then laptop travel would send them over. So I added a few more there, but a lot of good ones right here. It was kind of like what I usually do anyway. And AEI, this was on the list last night. Remember this? And we were saying it looked good. Well, that was probably why, because it was running right there. AKAN. That had some pullback right there. We'll see what it wants to do tomorrow. OKUR on Cure right here. Wasn't this one you were talking about on the show today? I think laptop travel. Did you post that up or something? I'm not sure, but I think this is the one you had mentioned. I know I have it written down over there somewhere. But anyway, OKUR on Cure Therapeutics, and that thing does look pretty strong to continue to run up there. So that is looking pretty good right there. And what about RITR right here? That one's not looking bad in the basement to try to get out. And if I could read my writing, GBR right here, New Concept Energy, and that did have some pullback. That was on the list yesterday, and that one absolutely could get cruising. So keep an eye on that as it comes down to this trend line right here. So keep an eye on GBR right there. Let me take a better look at it. Yeah, it's not looking bad. Hitting that MACD, it looks like it wants to get through right there as it gets set up. So keep an eye on that GBR. Not looking bad right there. VVPR right now, that was a little bit of pullback in the same situation right there. That thing looks like it's trying to get set up. So we'll keep an eye on VVPR. CVU right now, that one was trying to get set up in a good spot as well. Maybe a little bit of pullback. I'm not even sure with that 20 and 50 trying to meet up. So that's another one looking pretty good right there for CVU. And yeah, it did have a little spike up there today, 265 up to 295, back at 247. And like I said, it could still get running. So keep an eye on that CVU. And let's see, what else do we have on there? HMR. Let's see, that's a maritime one, and this one looked pretty good. What does that say? Heidmar Maritime Holdings. Look at that thing trying to crawl up. It did spike up pretty good today, so we'd have to look at that tomorrow. And INLF right here, Inlift, and that thing looks real good, guys. So keep an eye on this one, INLF. That one could get moving in the morning. So, yeah, that one's getting into that channel right there, trying to crawl up, not looking bad. And True Golf right here had been looking pretty decent. I know that. So, keep an eye on good old True Golf right there. And Xwell, that didn't look too bad as well. Xwell. And here you are with XWEL. And look at that, trying to bounce off of that trend line, curling up. So, that one could get moving for you. And is like a little penny stock setup right there for Xwell. So keep an eye on that one. And OKUR, I think that was the one that you had mentioned again in the small cap show. And is that YI? And I think that's what it is. And yeah, that's looking pretty good right there as well. And that's a China small cap one right there. So there you go with Laptop Travels listing. Let's keep on cruising along. We'll look at our SPY Mag 7, big caps, all them guys, and we'll see what's going on. It's the bottom of the third, but one out. Still the Dodgers up 1-0, and I'll keep you updated on that. And our SPY, we know that did closed up there, and it looked pretty good. It's hitting the top right there, and I'm talking about over here. Not so sure it's going to rip into the top. I'd assume it wants to pull back as this thing wants to get really set up there. And again, we have our Fed meeting coming up, all kinds of good stuff. As a matter of fact, before we go through that, let's see what our news stories even say. Let me look at it. Dow hits record high on U.S. China trade deal hopes. And then the stock. Remember, I always say, guys, like whenever Trump wants the market to pull down, he just says, tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. And as soon as he needs it to rip up, he pulls out that Rolodex and says, oh, yeah, we got a trade deal talking with China. And the markets just go absolutely bonkers every single time. I mean, it's crazy how often we see it happen. We talk about it on here all the time. Dow hits new record on U.S.-China trade deal hopes. And remember, we're in a government shutdown. Stock rally cools as Asian open and gold below 4,000. And let's see what else. Tesla chair pleads with investors. Back Musk's $1 trillion pay plan. I agree. And stock futures are a little changed after major U.S. indices notch record highs right there. And let's see, U.S.-China release sparks world stock melt up. World stock melt up. I had the cursor over there. So, yeah, everything kind of going crazy right there as the U.S. and China just, like I said, all he has to do is say it, and then it's just boom, the markets go crazy, and that's what we see every time. Here you go. Here's your SPY. Again, it went nutty today, and it looks like it should continue into tomorrow. The Dodgers look like they just scored another run, and it is 2-0 right there. I'm not sure what happened, but bottom of the third, 2-0, and one out, maybe two outs, possibly. I'm not exactly sure what even happened there. But anyway, that's another run right there for the Dodgers. So they're playing some good baseball right now. And let's go through and see what our Mag 7's up to. Apple right there was running up, not looking bad for tomorrow. So you might want to keep an eye on your Apple right there. Google looking pretty good. That looks real healthy. Amazon looks real good as well. That one's trying to run up. And Meta's not looking bad as well, as that jumped up there over to 50. So all of them looking good. And Microsoft was hopping up there today and jumping up even in the after hours some more, up $2. So there you go with Microsoft. Look at that bad boy looking pretty good. And we'll see. I think these things, like I said, are going to jump up some more in the morning right there and then try to get I don't know if they're going to stay up for much longer, but we'll see how they open up, and we'll be on at 7 a.m. You guys know that. And the video is also, I mean, considering what Qualcomm did. Remember I was saying that Qualcomm's been set up, guys? Now we see why. The video was trying to rebound. Qualcomm went crazy today. Look at this thing. They had all kinds of crazy news. What was it? They were Yeah, look at all that news today. They went crazy. But anyway, they announced a data center and AI chips to target Nvidia and all that. Yeah, here you go. The Qualcomm stock soars on new AI servers meant to compete with Nvidia and AMD. So, they're going to end up getting thrown in the mix with all these companies and partnering up with everybody, and then Nvidia and AMD will be working with them and everybody else. But Qualcomm did get crazy today, that's for sure. And I forgot to look at Tesla right here, and there you go. That was ripping up there and looks really good as well. So good old Teslas have been looking good. AMC just getting set up down here. Let it get set up. GameStop trying to jump around, and it is getting set up as well. So just watch that. And your Chewy right here is still pulling back. We were saying let it pull back, but Unity, like we've been saying, guys, that one's been set up and running up there. And there you go with Unity looking pretty good. And Netflix right here did pull back a little bit more, maybe trying to bottom out. We'll be keeping an eye on that to see if it did. Some of our semiconductors right here, AVGO, that was popping up there. And it doesn't look bad, like I said, for tomorrow. And maybe they run up early in the morning and then possibly pull back. We'll be watching these things as we go into that Fed meeting on Wednesday. And it is 2-0 right now, the Dodgers. So what is it? Is it the bottom of the third or going? Yep, it's still bottom of third. 2 outs right there. And somebody is on first base. So there you are. And yeah, AVGO, like I said, you might get these popping up early in the morning, and we'll be on early, obviously. MU has that look like it could come out, could stay up there. Who knows what it wants to do in the morning. TSM right here, that one doesn't look too bad to try to run up. And again, they could hit the MACDs and start bouncing back down. So just be careful tomorrow. I know the markets are looking good, but we do go into the PAL Fed talking, and you just know anything can happen with that. That's for sure. And that is your TSM right there, SMCI. Not looking too bad today, that's for sure. And the Chiefs are up 7-0 on the Commanders. So thank you very much right there, Luis Rodriguez. And there's 5:46 left in the second quarter with the Chiefs. I guess, are they kicking off the ball or they have the ball? But there you go. They definitely scored a touchdown. So it is 7-0. Did Kelsey score? No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't really matter. And there's Michael Anthony right there. You need to start back at 9 o'clock with people working dinner and many more reasons. Oh, I know, Michael Anthony. It is tough. I'm not gonna lie, but I am in that. Now I'm into this 8 o'clock rhythm. Maybe I'll do a couple shows here and there with 9 o'clock because my little guy's supposed to play hockey, and we did sign him up. And then I swear, like the sports today are just insane. I don't know what they do, but they tell you to sign up for apps, and then they put all the roster on there, and they don't even update the app, but then they start posting everything on their website, and then we had no idea. And so yeah, he missed like the first couple practices, and so yeah, I got to figure all that out. Me and my wife have been saying like, "Yo, when is this hockey supposed to start?" And she actually signed them up. And like I said, we had no idea. We've been checking this app, and it just says, check back later. And then you check back, and nothing happens. And then obviously they start posting it on a different place. I'm telling you, it's so like it would be nice if they just sent you out like a text message or something. And it's so bizarre. It used to be so much easier. I think now every sports thing has its own little app that they use, and you got to download that. It's just such a pain. Anyway, that's my rant with you. And again, I coach all the sporting. I always thought that the apps and stuff were just a pain. I'm like, can't we just have like a group chat, like a group text, and just make it like easier? But I guess people don't want their numbers exposed. Whatever. I have no idea. But anyway, how are you, Michael Anthony? And so yeah, there you go. And yeah, Robin says it's exactly the show can always be rewatched. Yeah, you can always watch the show whenever you want, Michael Anthony, on YouTube. And Robin, he watches he says exactly what he does in the morning as he can't watch the live one. So yeah, he just rewatches it. Kramer said tonight to sell that did miss earnings. I have no idea what you're even talking about. I swear, Michael Anthony, you make my head rattle just trying to read your sentences. But anyway, I'll get back to you and see what you're up to. Let me go through this list and see what that's up to first. and we do have some good games on. And the Chiefs again 7-0 over the Commanders, and still 2-0 there in the bottom of the third. It looks like so. There you go, and still somebody on second out. Yeah, 2 outs, bottom of the third, and a man on second. So see what's going on. SMCI, and that was trying to pop back up there in that channel. AMD running up a little bit nice today, and we'll watch that one to see if it can run up some more in the old in the top right there. You can see it up here in the top. So they do have their earnings coming up in the beginning of November. And anyway, let's see, Qualcomm. We were already talking about Qualcomm. It was cruising today. Let's put it that way. We were just talking about Luis Rodriguez said he loves the new 8 p.m. time slot. Again, I like it too. We kind of get done earlier on some nights, and it makes it way easier. And then I do the night note for the Discord and a few other things, and then it's not like 2 o'clock in the morning and then get up so early. So anyway, I don't mind it either. And then we get to see the games and have fun with that because a lot of them start at 8 o'clock. So we go through some of the sports as well and do that fun stuff. So yeah, and then if you can't catch it, you just catch the replay. Michael Anthony, you hop on, and then after the show, just start the replay up and watch up until what you missed, and then you'll catch everything real quick. And then there you go. And yeah, Qualcomm went crazy today, and we'll see. Maybe it can still run tomorrow. It has that look like it could go either way, obviously, after that big run up. But again, we might still see that momentum early in the morning right there. And Snowflake was running up. Remember, we were talking about that looking pretty good. And that could be a nice little momentum play right there. So you can keep an eye on Snow as well and see if it wants to go up a little bit more. And PayPal right here. Oh, let me type it in right. It was trying to get set back up. They have earnings, so I would just wait. Their earnings are tomorrow as well. I thought they did have earnings, so just mark that down as an earnings play. And there you go. So yeah, if you like earnings calls, PayPal will be in your on your watch list tomorrow. And let's see what's going on with Intel right here, INTC. And it is jumping up a little bit. It wasn't looking too bad, but again, has a lot of resistance up here, curling up. It could bounce down. And again, we have the Fed speaking. You got to be careful right here. When you see these things at the top like this and they just ran up like they have been, you gotta just be a little cautious for a day or two and just say, hey, the Fed speaking, rate cuts coming. We know that's a good thing. Government shutdown still going on. A lot of things happening at one time. One little piece of that puzzle thrown off could make the market dip. So you're better off playing it safe than sorry right there, is how I look at it. So that's what we're looking at. But Intel obviously might not curl through right there. And Dell right here was looking good today and could run up some more tomorrow, hit that resistance up there. And that's what I'm expecting. That's what they look like they want to do anyway. IBM, look at that thing. I mean, just went cruising up there, that's for sure. And there you are with IBM. And yeah, it's I would say that could be another momentum play up there tomorrow morning. And Palantir, look at this thing was running up today. And it also actually made a little resistance. It jumped up so much. So keep an eye on Palantir. We were talking about watching them dips, but it got ripping right there. It had dipped down, and Sophie was already looking good and was running up a little bit. And Sophie does have earnings. Is that tomorrow as well? That is tomorrow right there. So there you go with your Sophie and its earnings. So keep an eye on that for its earnings reports if you're an earnings fan. And Marin Riot right here, just kind of hanging out as crypto is just kind of hanging out. There's Riot right there. It is setting up, but again, CleanSpark trying to set up, but like I was saying before, Riot might not get through that MACD. It does look pretty good. They have earnings coming up on the 30th there. So on Thursday, Riot does. There's any of the other ones? I wasn't even paying attention. Let's see. Mara does have them. It looks like November in the beginning, and CleanSpark, because they're usually all around the same time. And I don't see anything for CleanSpark. They already had them back here, but I don't see coming up. So they should be right around there as well. But anyway, they're all not looking too bad right there. And let's keep going right here. That is our crypto treasuries and MicroStrategy, obviously, was trying to jump up there. And again, just getting set up. So that's what they look like. And crypto is still getting set up. And today it's a strategy acquires 390 Bitcoin for 43 million via preferred stock ATM offerings. as S&P Global assigns first ever B credit rating, citing high Bitcoin concentration and liquidity risks. Whatever they're talking about, I have no idea. But anyway, that's what it looks like. And yeah, they have earnings coming up right there on Thursday as well. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And so many earnings reports coming up. And that's the other thing you got to be careful of. Earnings, all kinds of stuff happening this week. It's a wild one, that's for sure. And here we go. Let's keep on cruising. That's MicroStrategy. Robinhood was up a little bit today. Still looks pretty good. Coinbase was still running up right there. And Bull right here was up a little bit. And again, Bull is just getting set up. Look at this thing. I don't even think it's curling through right here. I think you're going to have another opportunity. And that's what I think a lot of these are trying to do, to be honest with you. So I still think you might have. They obviously are ripping up all-time highs for the SPY, everything else, but I do think you still have some setup time going on in this last week of October, first week of November, and then they're going to get really ripping. And again, you have a rate cut coming, possible China trade deal happening, and all kinds of good things. So that'll make the markets rip, that's for sure. Space right here still trying to run up, curl up, looking pretty decent right there. And obviously, if they announce a China trade deal, all of these will go right through the MACD and go nuts. So you just know that's happening, but everything's setting up. You can see it. Boeing looking pretty good. Here's your DJT, Michael Anthony, came on just in time. And that is getting set up as well. And I do like that setup for him. And we've been talking about it. Obviously, we follow it all the time. And it is looking really good right there. Funware, not too bad as well. Had looked at that today. And let's round these up and see what Nike. Oh, we already looked at that. It was pulling back. And McDonald's right here trying to bounce right back up. So keep an eye on McDonald's right there. That one could be a little play for tomorrow. MCD and Disney still trying to run up there, guys. So not looking bad to try to roll off that MACD. And I'll tell you what, Oxy and these guys, they might not be looking so bad on these pullbacks. I'm not going to lie. So we'll be keeping an eye on these oil and gas. They have earnings on the November 10th right there. But yeah, they are not looking bad. ExxonMobil right here still looking good. RBNE, I was checking these guys out, and this one has that kind of crazy look like it wants to roll off. And if it does that, guys, it might get shot off like a crazy cannon. TMDE as well. It has that weird look like it's trying to do something. So I'll keep an eye on them tomorrow, as a matter of fact, because you know I like them guys, and they do like to run. And DXYZ right here. Let's see our Destiny Tech 100. And that thing is trying to get set up. That's probably your bottom right there at that $23. We were hoping to pull back down here a little lower, but it doesn't appear like it wants to. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. It could still pull back, bounce off of there as it gets set up, but it does look like that probably bottomed out. So at least you know where the bottom should be around. And there you go with Destiny Tech 100 and all them guys. So that is what they look like in the market. Let's see what you guys want to see. And then again, we'll hop off early. You guys can enjoy the evening. It looks like it's a 2-minute warning in the second quarter with 7-0. Chiefs are up over the Commanders. And it's still 2-0. The Dodgers are over the Blue Jays. And it's the top of the fourth. And there's a guy on first and third, I believe. Yes, there is. And they did not get a sac fly home. So first and third, 1 out. Toronto is threatening to score right here. So we'll see what happens right there in the top of the fourth. I'll keep you posted on that. And let's go ahead and see what's going on here. Lewis in Utah, how are you? A Palisade or whatever it's called, Pali, Palisade or something? Yeah, something like that. There it is, Palisade Bio or whatever it's called. That looks like it's just kind of pulling back right there at the moment, as a matter of fact, for PALI. Yeah, that one could be pulling back a little bit more. And I appreciate Money Mark hopping on. That was awesome. And let's see, Robin's hanging out. We were talking with Laptop Travel and Robin. Let me just see what else with Petco and ASST, Open Door. And we were talking about the Mike Alfred and that other guy, Eric Jackson, it says that's his name. And TWNP, that was your other one. And yeah, that OKUR, that was, I thought, one of your picks. And TWNP was Twin Hospitality Group. And yeah, that thing's not looking too bad either right there. So both of them were looking pretty good. And OKUR, OKUR, OnCure, whatever it's called. But yeah, that looks like it could be ripping up there tomorrow for OKUR right there. So you can keep an eye on that one, guys. And let's see, we were talking about Open Door and Drake. I couldn't remember his name, and everybody else that's involved in all that craziness with Eric Jackson and all them dudes. But anyway, let's see what else is going on. Oh yeah, that's right. Kaz somebody is the current CEO of Open Door. You're absolutely right. He just got promoted. He just got hired. I forgot about that. As a matter of fact, Laptop Travel. Until I just read that, I do remember. Let's see. Luis Rodriguez had a few here. Toyota Motor was running up over like 206 or something. 209. Look at that thing running up there. Pretty nice. NASST right there. We were talking about that guy. And Path right here is on path to go up a little higher. So keep an eye on that one. That could be a good one for tomorrow as well. Keep an eye there. BULZ is that Fang one. You were talking about that last night, and that did jump up pretty big. 3-time leverage on that one. NSMCI right here was jumping up a little bit. Looks like it could get to the 20. The Viking right here, not looking bad, actually. I'll have to keep an eye on the Viking for tomorrow. That's for sure. VKTX right there. I got to look at that one in the morning and see what that's up to. Let me jot it down over here. VKTX as well. So, yeah. Definitely have to keep an eye on that Viking in the morning. That's not looking too bad right there. And let's see, UMAC, we were talking about that one. It was running up today. Unusual Machines. And UPS we were talking about as well, and that was looking pretty good. They have earnings coming up. POWL, that PAL Industries. Let's see what they're up to right here. That was ripping up, and that one could have a good momentum play for tomorrow for POWL. So there are a lot of good ones, that's for sure. ETHU, I think it says. Yeah, 2-time Ether right here. And that was jumping up as well. So they are nice ones to play when crypto is going to be ripping. ARM right there looks pretty strong. So keep an eye on that. And Lulu, we are looking at, not looking too bad. And we were talking about that one as well. So there you go right there. And let's see, it's 3-2. What the heck even happened? I just missed something crazy. 3-2. The Blue Jays are now up in the top of the fourth. Someone just smacked a home run, I'm guessing, because the bases are cleared. And I would say that something just happened. I guess he hit a home run. Because there was guys on base, and now there's somebody on first base. So looks like the Blue Jays are bats are heating up right there. Doge Mama 9. That's not good for the Dodgers, but we like a close game. So let's see if it's let's keep it a good series, close game. Let's go 7. Let's go to game 7 in this World Series and have it just absolutely crazy. That would be a lot of fun. First game was crazy. Second game was pretty damn good. And this one's looking pretty decent right here. I'm just looking at the highlight or the scores thing. Anyway, let's see what's going on. And let's see, we were talking about pumping things and all that nonsense. And yeah, that's all crazy stuff and not a great idea. And let's see, unlike our president, oh yeah, he's definitely a big pumper, and they definitely get in before they tweet. So I was talking about that today. There again, guys, right before that big dip happened, there was one crypto account was opened up a half hour before the tweet came out, before that dip, and they leveraged crypto all the way down and made $200 million in 30 minutes. It was absolutely insane. So I'm not sure who it was, but I guess they had to have some pretty close knowledge or insight to Trump to know that was going to happen. That's for sure. So pretty wild stuff. Anyway, we were talking about Bed Bath and Beyond. CLS, what is that one right here? CLS, and that's Celestica. Oh, wow, look at that thing. Jumped way up there in the after hours, and they beat their earnings, obviously. CLS. Yeah, look at that thing up there. Holy cow, 332. So I would say that one definitely was a big one right there. And let's see, up 10%. Yeah, that one was pretty big. And let's see what else is going on. Laptop Travel said Chandra Holt is CEO of BBY. I thought it was Marcus whatever. He's the CEO of BBBY, I thought. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure Marcus Leonis is the CEO of this company, unless he's the owner. I have no idea. I know he's the CEO of Camping World and all that good stuff, but yeah, look it up. I'm pretty sure he's the CEO of this company as well. He's always tweeting about it and talking about Bed Bath and Beyond. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that he's something in the company. I know that for a fact. That's for sure because he's always talking about the company. And anyway, here we go at KRUR. You've been talking about this Korea one. And look at that thing. We should have listened to you the other day. It ran up even more, 7% right there, 3 time. That thing is running up. CAR reported better than expected earnings. It's a good sign for Hertz. And they have earnings on November 4th. What's Avis budget right here? And that is jumping up. So it's at 161, not too bad for CAR. And then we'll look at, yeah, it did jump up right there. Hertz right there, that's getting set up. That is for sure. HTZ. And I would say finally right there, Luis Rodriguez, and their earnings are coming up, like you said, November 4th, but finally trying to get set up there for HTZ. So there you go. And yes, the president of the PRC, People's Republic of China. So yeah, I was asking if Xi was the president. I couldn't even think of what he was. Taiwan is the ROC, Republic of China. Huh, that's interesting. So anyway, RELI is up 70% in the after hours. Wow, that thing's ripping right there, huh? I would say so. What did they do right there? Looks like it had something in the beginning of the day, and I'm not sure exactly what they did, but it looks pretty good for Reliance Global. And it looks like they announced something today. It has added Solana to its digital treasury, expanding its blockchain holdings. So, anyway, there you go with that. And let's see what else is going on. We were talking about IVF right there. And speaking of the Fed meeting and the rate cut, how do you see the SPY IWM and the Dow right there? Let's see. Our SPY, like I said, I'm going to be pretty cautious going in. As you have your SPY getting up here to the top right here, and it's still got to get set up, and it's run up pretty good, I would say. So definitely going to be pretty cautious. Tomorrow I think we're going to see some more run up, it looks like, and then obviously we could see some pullback going in. So I am definitely going to play all of them cautious. IWM has been acting was a little different today, hitting that resistance, and maybe this one wants to pop up as the spies and the SPY and the QQQ try to pull back, perhaps, because like I said, these things were running up pretty big today. So that's what it looks like. So I would definitely be cautious with all of them right there. And even our futures right here, our VIX, you can even see that looks like it could have a little bit of a run in it right here. As you can see, it's been pulling back and it's hitting that 50 right there. So it could try to bounce off. It's underneath the 20. I don't think it'll get too crazy, but it could bounce right there on your VIX and your UVXY as well. We'll take a look at that and see. Obviously way down here right here, but you could have a little bounce up effect. Nothing too crazy, but that's what it looks like. So we'll be keeping an eye on all that good stuff, of course. And let me see what else is going on here. And it's 4-2 right now. Wow. Dodgers putting it in on the Blue Jays putting some runs up right now. And it is the hold on, it's the top of the 4th with 2 outs. I guess he gets out and this thing's a little bit faster. I have no idea because this says the mid 4th. And I'd say, yeah, that's a K right there. So this is a little bit faster than my whatever I have on the Hulu or whatever. But anyway, it's 4-2 going into the bottom of the 4th right there. So the Blue Jays put up 4 runs in that inning, I believe. So there you go with that. We'll see what the Dodgers can do as they want to come back and see what's going on. November 4th is indeed election day. And anybody that does live in New Jersey or anywhere, be sure to be making sure that you go out and vote. It's very important. New Jersey has early voting, so make sure you take advantage of that. And Laptop Travel said he's recently fallen in love with MAGS. I don't even know what that is. Oh, again, since all the Mag 7s are doing well. And what is that? Well, that's a ETF for the Mag 7 right there. And look at that thing, just completely bullish out of its mind, guys. So it doesn't look like it's pulling back anytime soon. That's for damn sure. So there you go. That is looking pretty good. Chegg slashes 45% of its workforce, blames new realities of AI. That's pretty funny right there. What is that? CEG, CHG. That's it. CHGG is what Chegg is. And there you go, right there. So announces 45% workforce reduction and appoints founder Dave Rosenwig as CEO, and concludes strategic review by deciding to remain a something standalone public company to maximize something shareholder value or something like that. Anyway, there you go. It's CHGG cutting back some workforce like we always talk about. And let's see what else is going on. 30% of the S&P 500 scheduled to report earnings within the next 120 days. Most of them companies are reporting in the next like 3 or 4 days. It seems like it's kind of crazy. All the earnings coming up. We were talking about the capital of Saudi Arabia, and it's, how do you even say that? Riyadh? I have no idea. But anyway, YD More Investments Ltd is an Israeli investment firm founded by Yosef Levy. Oh, wow. Who's that? Is that the Yosef Levy that we know? I have no idea, to be honest with you there. So interesting right there. And it is the parent company of Moore Investment House, which manages billions in assets through mutual funds. Provident funds manage portfolios and other alternative investments. So that's interesting right there. ASST, we were talking about that one. And so there you go. And OKUR, we were talking about them. Here's Laptop Travel's gift for tonight. He said mask right here. Remember, we were looking at this thing and it popped right up there. And that does look pretty good there, Laptop Travel, I must say. MASK. That does look pretty good. So there you go. That's a little gift for you guys. And Michael Anthony, we already looked at your DJT. We do know that one. And let's see, you can always watch them on our shows on the replays. That's for sure. And I still don't even know what Kramer said today. Kramer said tonight to sell that did miss earnings. I don't know which one he was talking about, but that's what Kramer said. And I'm not sure which one Kramer was talking about. Anyway, I don't know what he's talking about there, but here we go. And yeah, the overnight hours start at 8, so it is pretty convenient, I must say. The market ends just as we're looking at it. So anyway, here we go. Hey AI sent a blast text message and email for all parents who have signed up for for the hockey news list. Of course. I mean, holy cow, is it not crazy? And so yeah, we had no idea that we just missed like a couple practices and all that good stuff. So we got to get all that figured out. So I may have to push the shows back a couple shows here and there, just for a couple weeks while hockey goes on. But anyway, I'll keep you guys posted. You know that. And we'll still be doing shows every night. We're not going to skip any, guys. You know that. And let's see what's going on. Palantir Mags, DZZ. I don't know what that is. It sounds pretty interesting though. DB Gold double short. Oh wow. That's pretty wild. That's how you short gold right there, guys, with DZZ. And look at that, way in the top. I'm going to jot it down just because I'm interested in it, just to keep an eye on when it wants to turn back around. And let's see what's going on. Yes, unfortunately, Laptop Travel and Michael Anthony are talking. And look at ARLP report before the open this morning. And did you see the earnings? I don't even know what ARLP is, Michael Anthony. I have to look at it. Alliance Resource Partners. No, I have no idea. But that's their earnings right there. It's all green. That's all I know. And let's see what it looks like. ARLP. Just bouncing around right here. I think it would still have to get set up, as a matter of fact. So there you go with that. Do not say earnings to Dougie. It's his kryptonite. He doesn't do or care. I have no. I mean, I literally trade around the earnings because I just don't even understand it, because I don't read anything. I just look at the charts, and then the charts get all screwy right around there. Like they can just go either way at the snap of a finger. So I don't trust them. But Yeah, I have no idea what goes on with earnings, to be completely honest with you. And I don't think I'll ever figure it out. If anything, I would say just trade the opposite of what I see, because that seems to happen more often than anything. And that's why I don't do it, because it doesn't make any sense. Like I say, Tesla can miss its earnings and the thing goes crazy, or they can beat their earnings and the thing takes a big dip. I just don't understand how any of it works. It makes no sense. And then the charts don't make any sense. So that's why I just choose to stay away from all the earnings, but I do know that people like them, that's for sure. And anyway, SMLR, let's look at that bad boy and see what that's up to. It's 4-2 right there, bottom of the fourth with 2 outs. And again, the Blue Jays are now up over the Dodgers. And Doge Mama 9 is now sitting on the edge of her couch saying, what just happened in that last inning? We need some runs, that's for sure. SMLR, Semler Scientific right there, was running up today pretty well, I must say. Luis Rodriguez. And SUPV, Grupo something, Super Val, somebody. I don't even know what they do, but that was popping today. That's in Argentina. Let's see. There's not a whole lot of Argentina ones. That one ripped up. This one is also trying to set up. That ripped up there. That's popping. That's going up. Argentina seems to be pretty hot, huh? Look at that, guys. I would say keep your eye. Holy cow! What was I just on? Tio right there. That looks pretty good. And yeah, keep your eyes on Argentina right here, because they look like they're kind of ripping up there out of their minds. I definitely have to look at that one in the morning. TEO right there, looking crazy. Telecom Argentina. And that one looks pretty wild, I must say. So anyway, there you go, SUPV. Keep an eye on that. McDonald's definitely looking pretty good right here. I would say looks like it wants to go up. And let's see what else. CBRL has been chopped in half in less than 2 months. What is that one? CBRL. CBRL. Oh, Cracker Barrel. Yeah. Didn't you say you just recently visited one of them? They do have some good food. I mean, I've been to a couple, but wow. We want to talk. Remember, I told you she was running that company into the ground. They should hit me up. We can get that company turned right back around right there. I can tell you that. Cracker Barrel, give me a shout. We'll help you guys out with no problem. I like Cracker Barrel. It's a good company. And yeah, we could make that one pop up with no problem. And let's see, Cracker Barrel. And Marcus Leomas is the executive chairman and principal executive officer of Beyond, uh, which is the parent company that owns Bed Bath and Beyond. Okay, so yeah, I know he's pretty important in Bed Bath and Beyond. I just know that because he's always talking about it and all that good stuff. But anyway, thank you very much for that info, Laptop Travel. Excuse me. Holy cow. And the game is at halftime. The football game, 7-7. Commanders scored a touchdown. Chiefs didn't put anything on the board after that. And it is 7-7 at halftime. And in the Blue Jays, 4-2 right now. And the fourth inning, I missed the fourth quarter. Fourth inning just got over. So we'll be going to our top of our fifth. So there you go with that. Michael Anthony, do you watch Kramer's Mad Money segment? Luis Rodriguez was asking. And that's our Discord Joseph. Holy cow, I had no idea. That's what he does. He manages that. That's wild right there. Laptop Travel. And we had brunch yesterday and loved it. At not Joseph and Luis Rodriguez. He had brunch at Cracker Barrel yesterday and he loved it. Yeah, I'm telling you, Cracker Barrel is good. And I think we still have one pretty close, not too far from us. And yeah, we could get that company changed right around, but I don't know if they're going to keep that CEO in there if we're going to do that. So she would probably have to go real quick. As soon as you get rid of her, the company will change around. I don't know what she was even thinking. She was an idiot, obviously. And look at it, went right back down to its April levels. Like, holy cow, that's almost impossible to do unless your CEO is a moron. And so yeah, well, guess what? I think the CEO must have been a moron and did some stupid shit right there, because that thing went right up and right back down. And holy cow, it didn't really need to, but it can go back up, that's for sure. And that is Cracker Barrel CBRL. And you know what? I want to keep an eye on that one tomorrow just to see what it's up to. What's Verizon doing? They're actually trying to bounce back up a little bit. They do have their earnings on the 29th right there. And there you go. At Verizon, they've been beaten down as well. Let's see what else is going on right here. If we missed anything, CODX. What one did you put on? COCP last night or something? Laptop Travel? Yeah, you had this on here. Remember, I was thinking of something. It was this one right here. I wish we had looked at it. I don't know how. How the heck was this the one I was thinking of? We never looked at it. Remember, I was thinking of one. I said, "Is that one?" And this was it. And I have no idea what they did. I mean, I probably wouldn't even have noticed that it was going to pop because it really didn't look like it was going to anyway. But that's the one I saw it this morning. I was like, no way. We looked at COCP and this is the one that I thought it was, CODX, and it just went wild today, over 200%. Like I said, if I would have looked at it last night, I probably would have never known that it was going to do that. They had some kind of crazy news. They inked JV, Saudi Arabia firm, whatever. They signed a definitive agreement with an Arabian Eagle in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to establish something. I have no idea what that's even talking. What the heck are they? Where is it? That I have to read this again. Co-Diagnostics signs definitive agreement with Arabian Eagle in the Kingdom of Saudi. Like, what's the Arabian Eagle? Like, what the heck did they sign an agreement with? I'm completely lost. Does anyone even know what the heck they're talking about? I have no idea. What the heck is an Arabian Eagle? I don't even know what that is. Anyway, I guess if you sign an agreement with an Arabian Eagle, guys, your stock is definitely going over 250%. Let's put it that way. So just look for them Arabian Eagle deals, and your stock's going to soar 259%. What is an Arabian Eagle? What the heck does that even mean? I got to open this up. Does it explain what the heck is an Arabian Eagle? I have no idea. Well, look, here it is. Oh, is that a company? Today announced that it's entered a definitive agreement with Arabian Eagle Man. Well, they should have said it was the company name. I thought it was I thought they were like over there just signing agreements with like Eagles or something. I had no idea that was the name of the company with Arabian Eagle. All right, so that makes a little more sense. So that's the name of the company right there. I had no idea what they were talking about. So pretty wild. You can confuse me pretty easy. I was like, what is an Arabian Eagle? That sounds bizarre. Anyway, it's the name of the company. So you would stay in Argentine stocks. That was a quick pop. And in response to the presidential election right there, yeah, we'll keep an eye and see what they're up to. They were a quick pop right there. But anyway, that is our market coverage right here. Our World Series is on, that's for sure. And it is halftime in the football game, 7-7 Commanders Chiefs right there. So you can enjoy the second half. 4-2, Blue Jays are up over the Dodgers in the top of the fifth. So you still have most of the game left right there as well. And there you go, everybody. I would say that's a pretty fun market review. I'll just make sure we got everything over here and everywhere else, but we'll kind of wrap it up so everybody can go enjoy their evening and everything else with the Sports World Series and all that good stuff. Let me see if there's anything trending. Sophie's up, and ASTS, Amazon, Microsoft right there. And that is going up over 218 in the after hours, looking good. I like when that's trending. BRR, remember that one was on the list? Laptop Travel, not looking bad right there. And that thing is, I remember it spiked up. We were looking at it back there, but that's not looking too bad. I must say UPS, AVGO is on there as well. So some good ones. And like I said, the market looks like it should be strong in the morning tomorrow. But I would be pretty cautious going into the rest of the day right there. But we should have some great poppers early. So keep your eyes on that. That's what the market looks like. Crypto right there. Again, just a little healthy pullback. Even though it looks red, it's still not bad. It's not really too bad right there. ASST, we'll check it out early tomorrow, see if that's going to be rocking and rolling some more. And let me see if we got everything. It certainly does look like it. And there you are. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only, not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Laptop Travel, Luis Rodriguez, and Michael Anthony. And, of course, Robin, Doge, Mama 9, Asian Joe Lee, everybody else, Lewis in Utah, and of course, Money Mark. Be sure to follow Money Mark as well, and Laptop Travel. Both of them great, and they were both on the Small Cap Show today as well. So you can check the Small Cap Show out. That's a great show every week. We do that every Monday at 1 p.m. And Laptop Travel hopped on there today, and it was great to have him on as usual. So there you go. And again, Money Mark, you can check him out. He's a great dude as well, and he has some great picks. He's been doing it a long time, that's for sure. And that is what the market looks like, everybody. So again, a lot of fun always doing our shows, hanging out, talking about the markets and doing everything. And there you go, talking sports and all that good stuff. And again, that's what our game was looking like. Is it's still 4-2? It looks like, yep, 4-2, one out, top of the fifth. And the Blue Jays are up over the Dodgers, and it's halftime, still 7-7. So there you are, everybody. And if you're new, just tuning in, I greatly appreciate it. We do this show every Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. And then we do our pre-market show every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. So we'll be on at 7 a.m. I hop on sometimes about 5 minutes early just so we can make sure we can get through the entire pre-market and see what's going on. Tomorrow could be popping. I'll probably be up early because I did keep a little ASST. I don't know if I was a good idea or not, but I guess I'll see. So I'll probably be hopping up at 4 a.m. to see what it looks like and maybe get rid of that one. So there you go, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. If you ever have any questions, be sure to hit me up on X. Just send me a DM. I respond to everybody. And that is what the market looks like. So I'll be putting the night note up. Check out Laptop Travel. He is in the Discord as well with his 4 a.m. Warriors. And he also does his great newsletter. So you can check that out. I tend to read it. I'm not saying I always understand everything, but it's a good reading exercise for me. And then those of you that don't know, I suffered a pretty severe brain injury about a little over 2 years ago now. It's going probably on 2.5 years, I would say, because it was July 8th of 2023. I was jacking up a house with my buddy, and the jack kicked out. I got hit with a 10-ton jack with the pressure of the two-story house right there. Suffered a nice little brain injury, but here we go. And I started doing this show honestly as like a cognitive therapy kind of training or whatever you want to call it, therapy, whatever. And it just kind of got bigger and better. And I greatly appreciate everybody that hangs out all the time. And you guys, like I say, I just kind of sit here and make the show move around and just facilitate it. And you guys come on with some great stock tickers, some great ideas. And we just have a lot of fun with Michael Anthony and everybody else. And Arabian Eagle is the name of the company. I did look that up there, and I was kind of just taken away when the wording of it looked like they were meeting like this eagle out there just making a deal in the middle of Saudi Arabia is how I pictured it, the way it worded it. And again, it's not very hard to throw me off. You can see my reading comprehension is pretty horrible, and that's part of it right there. I suffered a major brain injury, and so trying to get that a little bit better. So yeah, I read Laptop Travel's newsletter as a reading exercise. I'm not going to lie, but it does have a lot of great information. And like I said, I'm not sure if I comprehend it all the time, but it is good. It's a good read, and he puts a lot of time into it, and I definitely enjoy it. That's for sure. So you could check that out, his newsletter. It is great. I know a lot of you guys are already signed up for it and enjoy it a lot. And again, our Discord, if you ever have any questions about that, hit us up. We've been doing a live trading, Ben and I, in the morning and in the afternoon. So we'll be doing that as usual. So that's a lot of fun. And we've been popping out and hitting some great poppers every day and hitting the market. And then the night note, guys, is just some great setups every single day. I mean, I had that ASST on there before anybody was even talking about it. So there's always great setups on there. And that's what I tend to play, are the setups, because that's what I'm better at. I'm not as good at trading, I don't think, in that like real fast pace. I do enjoy being on there watching the charts, but I can't really watch it and trade all at the same time. Not every time. I can pick and choose a couple that are setting up, and that's what I do. I pick the setups that I like and I roll with them, and I do perfectly fine. So everybody has their own styles, but I do enjoy just watching it. Again, I used to trade penny stocks all the time, so that was really fast paced, obviously. And I did like that action, but I just can't really follow it anymore. And again, you have to kind of pivot with what works for you. And obviously the penny stocks, just trading them all the time so fast, doesn't work with my brain anymore. So you have to pivot and see what works, and make it work for you and your lifestyle and everything else. We talk about that all the time, and just have the right mindset. Like I say, I could have easily just kind of given up, but I said, hell with that, we're going to fight back and do even better. And here I am sitting here after like 2.5 years of lots of therapy, guys, and still being able to check out the market, read stock charts, and you guys all hang out, so it's greatly appreciated. And I have a great time, and with everybody. Laptop Travel and Luis Rodriguez, literally listened to like my first shows, and have been hanging out every single day and night, every morning and night. Doge Mama 9 was there early. Asian Jolie, obviously, super early. She might have been one of. So yeah, I've had there's a handful of people that literally listened to the very first show that I ever did, and have been just listening every single night and morning. And I so greatly appreciate it. I talk to all of you guys, so it is it's awesome. And you guys know I always, we all talk on X. So like I say, if you ever have questions, shoot me a message, a DM on X. I definitely respond to everybody, and I do talk to quite a few of you, and it's awesome. And Doge Mama 9 said she is shaking right now. I believe it after that inning that the Blue Jays put up 4 runs right there. That was a pretty big inning. So you're what, at the top of the 5th, 2 outs, one person on first base, and it's 4-2 right there. So that is what's going on, and we'll see the Blue Jays. It looks like he just popped out. I mean, so it looks like the Dodgers are coming in the bat. We'll see Doge Mama 9 if they can score some runs right here, going into what, the bottom of the 4th. It looks like. Is that what it is? The bottom of the 4th, I think. Yeah, and then you're holy cow, what the heck is going on here? I was gonna say it's got to be. I don't even know why that went back like that. But anyway, no, it's definitely the bottom of the 5th. And the game started, the NFL game started back up. So anyway, football 7-7. Thank you, Michael Anthony. And they just started back in the 3rd quarter. That's the Commanders and the Chiefs. So there you go. Your sports update, your stock market update, everything fun and exciting that we do. And again, greatly appreciate all of you hanging out. Be sure to follow along on X, Instagram, and YouTube and all that good stuff. Like the show, and be sure to show up at 7 a.m. because you guys know we'll be all over the market and seeing what's going on. And let's see, Laptop Travel said he had an average of 60% gains for the 4 a.m. Warriors. So Rita's overnight watch list there, many tickers for the pre-market tomorrow, and some easy money, he said. So I believe it. Laptop Travel is a master at that 4 a.m. And again, I tried that, and it wasn't that good for me either. So, but I do get up if I have a position that might move. So I will be up pretty early tomorrow. So Laptop Travel, I may have to hop in one with you. So maybe I'll be shooting you a message early to see what the good plays are right there. And then we look at that ARLP already. Alliance Resource, yeah, we looked at that. They had their earnings, and again, pay 60-cent dividend right there. There you go. That's a pretty good dividend. But I'm not sure if I'm ever thermal coal, huh? That's an interesting one. I'll have to look at them. Let's see. Nothing too crazy right there. They're actually kind of pulling back at the moment. So interesting right there, Michael Anthony. You always have some interesting stock tickers, and generally ones that I don't even know of them, but they're all fun to look at. And you guys know, if you ever have a question about a stock ticker or want to know anything, just shoot it up there. We look at everything every night. So there you go, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in. I will catch you guys in the morning. So be sure to like the show on your way out, and have a great night, everyone. And I'll see you guys at 7 a.m. Have a good night, and I'll see you in the morning.